before we mention it, because I can.
Exactly.
But
That means since I'm the one who led
Okay,
so
Yeah.
Okay, well, welcome. This is
The Where
Panda,
Podcast.
I'm Daniel.
Levi.
Alan,
And Aaron.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still love the beginning music.
Hmm.
Oh, hey, when you get a chance, we need you to create a little fun, upbeat beginning song for the cooking show.
next.
What if we used, like, I can make something, but there's also that, actually, we might want to use that one, the disclaimer sounds that we had, where it's like, we've heard people have been saying some things about WerePanda. We just want to say, we're sorry. Like that music that you had found in the background.
But those were long. We
Those
want
were
more like
definitely
just
a little
intro-ish.
short.
Okay,
intro
yeah,
thing.
I'll come up with an intro.
Okay,
Intros are
cool.
easier.
Yeah, just a short
Fake
intro.
apples are hard.
The show is going to be called the 2D Cooking Show. It's the Totally Delicious, and
Oh, that's what the choice was?
that's
Yeah,
what
When
we're
did you
gonna-
talk? Today?
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
While you were gone. So, but that's what we're going with, and we're gonna film it in December.
Cool.
And the totally delicious makes sense because we'll be wearing
Yeah, they're gonna be wearing.
toadstool caps.
She's gonna have like
Ah,
toadette.
totally.
and-
Boom.
Yeah.
Suddenly, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll
Mind
agree with
Cause-
you.
blow.
Yeah, because I was
Pretty
like,
much.
it has a pun in it, so I'm happy.
And then, exactly. Dude,
Actually-
what about, like, you heard some of the other ideas that Aaron had come up with,
Yeah,
right?
he
They
told
were
me.
genius.
They were good. Yeah, they were
Game
really.
over cooking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, this is copyrighted, by the way.
just in
These- I
case
don't
we
care.
want to use
Yeah.
it later.
I'm going to
Um,
make sure I do everything to copyright that name.
You haven't seen A Million Ways to Die in the West, right?
I haven't yet.
There
None of
was
us have
this one part that was like all these puns. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
I know you would love it, but for the life of me, I can't even remember because I had the worst internet connection last night, less than 1 megabytes per second of speed.
Oh, man.
As I was watching the movie, every 2 seconds it would freeze. It took me 4 hours to get through a 2-hour movie.
Ew, that's gross.
Right? If I hadn't been like transferring stuff over on my phone, I would have just stopped watching. But I figured since I'm
I
not
would've
paying
stopped
attention
watching.
too much, I might as well just do this, and I can just kind of watch in the background. But yeah, I can't remember what it was, but I know you would have loved it.
No, and
Let me see
I
if
still haven't seen We're the Millers yet for that reason.
Oh yeah,
Because there's been actually we tried to get it that one time, but I swear there's been another time
Like,
where
yeah.
I tried to like watch it and I still couldn't.
I watched it. I was watching it at the hotel, and then the channel it was on went blank. What, like We're the Millers?
Huh.
And then Alan and Aaron were like, "Yeah, we're gonna watch it," and then it wouldn't load, and I was like, "The world doesn't want me to see
watch
this
it.
video."
I've never even heard of this video.
Yeah, it's
It's the one with Jennifer Aniston and
Jason Sudeikis.
Sudeikis.
So you make me want to see it now.
I don't know. The little bit I saw of it was kind of funny, but the premise was
weed humor, like trafficking, like
yeah, they're drug traffic. They pretend to be a family and rent an RV so that they can go pick up weed in Mexico and traffic it back to the
Nice.
United States. And that's just like all the crazy antics about
that
it.
ensue.
Yeah, and there was some funny stuff about like they're going. No, I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys.
We still haven't seen. None of us have actually watched Kill Bill since Alan's been telling us.
No.
I know.
I watched the first.
Oh,
volume.
You watched the
Yeah,
first volume.
you watched
Pretty
it.
good, right?
Yeah, it was pretty
The
good.
second volume,
Like-
I like the second volume a little better than the first, but the first volume's kick ass.
I feel Quentin Tarantino is like the only movie director that's able to just like do such like terrible cuts and also like go to black, put like Times New Roman text, and then like go to the next scene. Cause like it'll do like chapter 1 or it'll go back, and he does that in a lot of his like
Mhm.
movies, and it's like I feel like we just accept it now. Like that's his style. It's
Mhm.
okay when he does
Quentin
it.
Tarantino did Inglourious Bastards too.
Yep.
It did.
That's-
And
Because
that's
the second
on
you were
there.
saying
Yeah,
that, I was
it's
like,
on
that
there.
must be his movie.
You guys probably haven't seen Pulp Fiction then either.
I've
Yeah,
seen
we've
it.
seen Pulp
It's
Fiction.
Oh, very good.
the-
Yeah.
What, you don't like Pulp
I didn't
Fiction?
like Pulp Fiction.
What didn't you like about it?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you, but it.
Wow,
I
that's
wasn't-
terrible.
I wasn't. People are like, "Oh, it's so good," and they're like drawn in and everything like that. But I was waiting for more to happen. You know,
I guess that's where because it's not a movie that's supposed to have stuff happen.
I think the problem is
just
everyone has built it up for all the years that I haven't seen it. They're like, oh, it's so good. Oh, you gotta see it. So when I watched it, I was expecting something
Groundbreaking.
crazy good. Yeah, groundbreaking, and it was entertaining, but it wasn't particularly. It wasn't like Interstellar.
So it's overhyped. So it's like what I said to you guys the first time I saw Taken, because I thought Taken 1 was the bomb. And I was like, you guys, this is an amazing movie. You've got to see it in theaters. This is the best thing that I've ever seen. And you guys saw it, and I was just like, I mean, you were telling me it was so much better. And so that's why I stopped watching a movie and coming back and telling you guys how amazing I thought movies were, because apparently I oversell them.
For me, for Pulp Fiction, like, it shows the worst way to die. So in one of the scenes is like the guy like is making toast or Pop-Tarts or some shit, and then he like leaves his Uzi on the counter while he goes to the bathroom. And so he's like in the bathroom and everything. He just comes out to find it's Bruce Willis, right?
Yeah, Bruce Willis.
Just find Bruce Willis there with his Uzi, and he's just like, oh shit. And then Bruce Willis just like mows him down with the Uzi. And I'm like, that would be so like the worst way to die.
Your
You're like,
Uzi after
Uzi.
you just
And you're like,
went to the
I just
bathroom.
went to take a dump, and now I'm dead.
Yeah.
That's why you never leave your gun sitting around, especially if you're staking out a place for someone.
Well, like how long does it really take to go take a dump? You know,
It depends.
It
Well,
does
wasn't he
depend, but
reading? I'm pretty sure he was reading in
Maybe.
Maybe. So maybe he was jerking one off.
Isn't that weird, though, by the way? People, my stepdad would do it, too. They would, when they go to the bathroom, they have books ready for them to just sit down and read.
or like a magazine or
Yeah, and magazines.
something.
That's just weird to me. Like, I go into a bathroom to do my business and get out.
But you can't tell me that. Like if you're going into the bathroom to take a dump, that you don't just like pull out your phone and maybe
Nope.
you
Heck
don't.
no. Nope.
What?
I
don't
do.
pull out my
I
phone.
do that.
I've heard
Yeah.
too many stories of people dropping it.
Well, if you're
What?
stupid,
Yeah,
you'll
No,
drop
I'm not
it.
I
standing
could
like.
I just
Take
could
it.
be. And it's just the way it's
Are
could
you-
start to drop and you
It's
fumble.
for your while you're sitting.
While you're sitting, not while you're taking
Well,
a piss.
when I'm sitting,
You just have this wide stand
When I'm
that you're all the way
sitting-
back.
No, when I'm sitting, I want to get the deal over with.
yeah,
And then get out. But I can see it. I can see it for like having a family. It's kind of your solace area.
Yeah,
No one's going to interrupt you
solitude.
while you're taking a dump.
Yeah.
So maybe that might be eventually something I.
I
start
like
to
it
My
at
breaking
work.
point is just when my legs go numb.
That's when he's done.
when I'm
Oh,
done.
I've been here a little too long.
Yeah.
No, what's sad is when your legs go numb and you're not reading or doing anything. You're like, I gotta finish this up.
Yeah.
It's just
That's
taking
the
a long
worst.
time.
Because then you come out and you're like, it's almost like you're sore. Because you just, every time you step, you get those shooting pains. And
Oh.
everyone's like,
This is a
what
gross
happened
subject.
to you in there?
Yeah.
Wait 10 minutes and then go
You'll
see.
find out.
That's really gross, by the way.
Yeah.
Not as gross
think
as
we've-
our last
Yeah, I think we've done more gross stuff.
Oh, last
Yeah.
one. The last
I was
one.
almost puking last time.
Almost
I mean,
puking?
That-
Yeah, no, actually, I
that
didn't puke.
surprises me. Your gag reflex. That's kind of weird.
It's not a gag reflex. If Alan's more imaginative about the situation,
That
then
was the
his
problem.
brain starts to like freak out
To
about
tell
it.
the stomach,
Yeah,
get rid of
Yeah,
everything.
exactly.
That's just
It-
weird to me. Like, I can't.
How-
I'm
something's grossed
very
me out that I'm
How
like, ugh.
deeply did you think about the question Aaron posed last week?
Why would I do anything other than a surface level thought?
Exactly. But
I
we kept
you
talking
guys
about
kept-
it,
yeah.
and it dug into Alan's brain.
They kept
Initially,
mentioning details, and it's like those details would,
Well, I
would
had to
appear in my
explain
head.
my-
I understand, but the details were the problem.
I remember.
That
I
says a
rem-
lot about your imagination.
I remember after I took the
I-
mayo out and tried to like.
Yeah.
Okay, we're done. I thought we were done with this
I'm
last
sorry,
time,
Alan.
but I guess
It's just,
not.
it's still, every time that something comes up, it still surprises me, and it's probably because I'm not that in depth with my imagination. I can really daydream and imagine things and think about it, but I think it on a story level where it would be nice or it would be terrible
Mhm.
if. But you apparently take texture to it.
Mhm. It's
Almost
because like when I
Yeah.
read, I don't enjoy details. But when I'm trying to imagine things, I do enjoy the details because it helps me kind of paint a better picture. The only reason I don't like it when reading is I like to create my own details.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I
So,
can
like,
respect that.
because if someone's trying to pay me a picture, it's too much work when I
How
can
much
just
do you
create
charge
it.
them? You said pay me a picture.
No, he
I
said
said
paint.
paint.
I heard pay.
He said paint.
Well,
I'm
they're
gonna listen to this.
very similar. So
No,
You
it's-
just said it without the T.
pay me a picture.
Guys,
So actually,
Mountain.
yeah. I have a question for you guys that kind of came up. This was a while back ago, but I knew this would be something great to talk about here. So, have you guys ever actually, besides at like Renaissance fairs or old timey museum places or anything, have you ever seen an anvil?
No.
No, but I want one.
Where have they gone? There used to be so many of them. What happened
They've
to them?
probably been melted down and
You
used
think
for
so?
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
what?
but
You
think
think
about
there's
how
just
how
some-
heavy
no.
are they technically?
Think about how hard it would be to melt an anvil, because those are things you're working on with melted metal. So its melting point would be really, really
no,
high.
it wouldn't be, because the idea is you're sticking in the metal in the fire and letting it get superheated, and then you're putting it on the cooler anvil, okay? So the idea is the metal's already cooling down when you pull it out. I'm sure if you threw an anvil into hot coals and let it sit there, it would get hot and molten, and you could pound it just
How
the
long
same.
would it take, though?
Would you have?
Well, how heavy? How much
Yeah.
mass is there in an anvil?
Yeah.
Is
Well,
it 1
it's,
ton?
it's made
or
out
is
of
it-
iron, and no, it's not. It's
What am
not
I thinking?
1 ton.
I'm
You're
just
thinking
thinking
of
of
like
weird anime
Acme,
crap.
yeah,
Yeah.
anvils. No, it's just made out of iron. You know.
All right.
Well, here's a follow-up question, too.
He was
Do
leading.
you... Well, no, that was just the general one. But, so you know the shape of an anvil?
Yeah.
Do any of you know I know there's a
Reason behind
reason
it?
behind it, but do any of you
No,
know what
I
that
do.
is?
I
Why?
do. It's because the way it's shaped is conducive to bending metal in many different ways and shape.
Like, so for the horn, you use that kind of like to
To round
that
things
makes
out.
so
That
The
does.
top part
sense.
you can hammer it out.
flatten.
I went to Wheeler Farm with Azure for her field trip because they needed a chaperone, and I was the one available, and they have a guy there who has a blacksmith
It has
and
an anvil.
and he has an anvil and everything, and he shows you how to do it. And he's like, the reason the anvil is, you
So
know,
the guy has the blacksmith.
the guy
like a
is the
slave?
blacksmith.
Oh,
You always have to go there. We notice how you're always the one who goes there.
You're the instigator.
But that's what it's for. It's to shape it
You
in
said he
different
was
ways.
possessive of this blacksmith.
I misspoke.
Well, that is a gross misspoken point.
But yeah, I mean, it's not like they have like storerooms or junkyard full of anvils.
I would
mean,
love that if there was. Just
it
to
would be
see.
funny.
Go to DI. Oh, we're selling an anvil now.
Dude, I would
Sweet.
buy it.
Yeah.
I've always wanted
I
one.
want to buy. Yeah, I just want
I
to
wonder
buy
how
an
many
anvil.
failed times happen before they're like, okay, we need to make the anvil shaped like this. Because
I
this
don't
just
know.
isn't going to
They've been around for ages.
Well, and I'm sure they've gone through their stages of development. You know, each person added a little bit of a difference to it because they thought, hey, this will help.
Oh,
me
you're
do
not
this
using
better.
the Derek's anvil? I don't like that one.
Yeah.
No, I'm using Anderson. The Anderson anvil. It's new on the market. Each
Use-
year a new model came out. The Anderson 1220.
I'm using the Phillips. He's not good for anything else. He's not gonna make.
He'll
it.
never
He's
make a
never
name
gonna
for
make something
himself.
of himself.
It's pretty good.
But he showed them. He made his own type of screwdriver.
Phillips screwdriver. Why would you need anything but a flathead?
It's pretty good.
You guys know why Phillips screwdrivers works well, right?
I don't know why they
Multiple
made
points.
it.
Yeah,
Multiple
there's
points
more
of
points of
contact.
contact, and so it's
Surface
easier to
area.
screw in.
Whatever.
Surface area. It has like more surface area to connect.
Mhm.
So
I just
So-
thought you were saying surface area for the sake
So-
of it.
Thanks.
You guys.
that's why ruffles taste so great. Because
Because
they
there's
have
more
ridges and
surface
they have
area.
more surface area.
It just means they can hold more salt.
Cheese.
anything powdery that they throw.
Okay,
on
so
it.
you saw Interstellar.
I saw Interstellar.
You haven't still. All right, we still can't talk
Yeah,
about
not
Interstellar.
yet. But so anyone who's listened to this podcast knows about that guy we know. We've talked about him a few times, everything like that.
Yeah, Alan,
yeah,
go for it.
Alan can ruin it. A few beeps again. But it's funny because,
I think we should just say his name and beep it out each time.
Nah.
He'll be known as Beep.
I like being
Like Kill
vague about it.
Bill.
Yeah. But
Oh my gosh! Our old nickname, similar to Kill Bill.
the Halo
Yeah.
name type.
oh, right, yeah.
It's perfect. It matches in so many ways.
But I thought we've all had our issues with him. For whatever.
I have no issues.
Yeah, okay.
Aaron, the record show.
Yeah, Aaron has no issues with it. Aaron,
No, you've
I
had
love
issue
everyone
with
in
the
this
fact
world equally.
you've had issue with the fact that we've had issue with him. I bet.
But that's more issues with us. I've got to admit, when it comes down to it,
You need to
I
solve
don't
that.
I don't hate him as a person. I know we don't actually all hate him.
Yeah, no, I don't hate
It's
him.
just
I
we've been
don't.
taken advantage of.
Yeah,
so
I don't
much.
respect him anymore. I feel like even if he's changed now, I feel like at times he was not a good friend to
Yeah.
us. And, whatever changes he goes through in life, fine. But his actions caused us to feel cheated, unappreciated. And because of that, he no longer has us as a friend.
I guess it's quite specific.
That
Without
just
being specific.
reminds me of Sonic Boom from last week. No, because trust me. So there's a part where Amy, so Eggman's living with Sonic and Tails. And there's a part where Amy's helping them kind of regulate and
Their
figure
feelings.
their feelings, and so it starts off with Sonic just going, how do I put this delicately? Nobody likes you here, and everyone wants you to leave.
Nice.
And so Amy goes, let's phrase our statements with, when you do this, it makes me feel this. So Sonic goes, when you live here, it makes me feel angry. Because nobody likes you and everyone wants you to leave.
Nice.
And
That's
so,
pretty good.
I don't know why I brought this up, but
No, well,
It's conducive. He's been rude to multiple of us, whether intentionally or unintentionally, doesn't matter. It happened. I ran into him this last week, okay? And things have happened that made me believe that he kind of understood that whether or not I was, a jerk to him or not, we were not on speaking terms. We were not friends. Yet he was talking to me like nothing had ever happened. I can't even believe it. It just was like,
kind of yeah. I wasn't
like it was
I wasn't
almost
imagining that could even happen.
it was almost more disrespectful than anything that's happened before, because what it means is he has in no way thought about how he's treated us and why we're maybe treating him the way we're treating him right now. It's like nothing. He even had the nerve to ask a favor from me, and I of course told him no.
Unforgivable.
But
No,
how
it's
dare he?
Or is this just a mirror, a reflection that you're imposing on him?
What do you mean?
Like if you internally didn't feel that way, then you wouldn't have seen it as being something disrespectful.
Aaron's using his book thing again.
What do you mean?
I am using my book thing again.
I still don't get it.
Because
So
if you were able to just let it go and forgive him, you would just see him as being have just he may have things wrong with him, but you're not going to let anything that he does affect you internally.
Well, but that's the thing is, in all fairness, it didn't anger me or anything like that. It just it's the kind of thing where I don't, I
Well,
don't know how to
you had
explain
been
it.
wronged, and it's never been.
It's not, it would be something if someone he wronged me, he apologized for it,
Made up for
and
it.
not even made up for it, just apologized for it. And even if I felt like I still couldn't be friends with him, I could just kind of drop it, The idea is that,
It's just never been noticed.
yeah, he must be so self-absorbed in his own world or whatever's going on to not even realize that maybe the things he was doing were even slightly inconsiderate. Like, I'm not going to go out there and say he was the most inconsiderate person I've ever met.
Who would be the most inconsiderate person in the world? Hitler?
Do you
Kylie's
think?
father.
Do you
Okay.
think if you weren't a liar, you could tell a liar?
If you weren't,
If you had never lied,
Yeah, you could tell.
you could tell when someone else was
someone's
lying
lying.
to you.
To you.
I bet that would almost make you more. Because if you'd
Gullible,
never
yeah.
lied, you would expect maybe.
Well, no, if you
But then
more
again-
like a situation where you knew people lied, but you've just done your best throughout your entire life to just never lie. Would you somehow be able to?
I honestly don't think it would change.
I don't think it
things
would.
one way or
Yeah,
another.
I don't think
Mm.
that fact would change how well you could tell if people were lying or not.
Because don't they say to catch a criminal, you gotta think like a criminal?
Yeah, exactly.
They do say that.
And
doesn't
So
mean
if you lied more,
But so if you were
might be able to pick it up because.
But would you be more prone to fall for lies?
Yeah.
Because you
don't
know the signs.
You don't
You've
lie.
never done it.
Yeah.
well, it would depend. Like, I think you definitely
well, here,
would be,
I guess here, think
could
about
be more
this.
gullible.
Say you're someone who lies all the time, but no one ever noticed you lied. You never got caught in it. You never had to improve on your lies, and so it's just really basic, rudimentary lies. Then all of a sudden, you met someone who's been lying all their life to people who were catching them on those lies. That person's not going to realize they're being lied to. Whereas on the other hand, someone who's really honest but has lived with people who have lied and has progressively seen someone or seen people get caught in their lies and understand what's coming to the lies, will be able to pick up on lies more, even though they.
I
So
think there's
environment
And
plays-
and I'm using lies because we were I don't know, I just brought that up, but it's for anything really. What if sarcasm? If you never used sarcasm or maybe
you
didn't know
couldn't catch it.
what sarcasm was, you couldn't catch sarcasm.
Well, and that's the difference, and that's a difference here. Like with lying, if you didn't lie because you didn't know what that was, if you didn't understand, you could
you knew you could
yeah,
you don't have to say the truth.
yeah, exactly.
Let's just say,
But
you've
with
never
sarcasm,
lied, and you've never called someone out. You've never experienced a lie, let's say, but you don't have to say the truth. Let's just say
well, yeah, well then you probably would if you've never experienced a lie and you've never
you
told
may
a
have.
lie.
Yeah, true. You've
I don't
never
know-
fallen.
I don't know if you can consider it an experience if you didn't know about it. You can't say I experienced a lie because for all you know it was truth, and you don't know. Okay, so assuming 1, you've never told a lie, and 2, you've never experienced it, you probably are going to be extremely gullible. Now with sarcasm, you posed a different idea where the person didn't know what sarcasm was, where sarcasm is definitely more of a social kind of, deviation, not necessarily a thing that people naturally develop. So if you never,
Really?
yes, really.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you're right about that.
Are you?
People
Cut
just
the
don't
sarcasm.
naturally learn to do sarcasm.
You're right. No, I agree with
In
you.
this world, yeah.
I don't think,
Yeah.
no, and so in that situation, if they never experienced
Wait, was
it,
that sarcasm?
and they didn't,
What he's
they
doing right
didn't-
now. I
Oh,
think
Daniel.
is-
and they didn't
Sarcastic.
know what it was, they probably wouldn't be able to pick up. They might think the person just has a weird accent or something.
That's nice.
What? Of course not. What's
Sarcasm
with your
doesn't-
accent?
Sarcasm doesn't have to really change your voice, though.
It
Doesn't it?
See, but you do it because you want the other person to realize you're being sarcastic.
Yeah, that's
Come
definitely
on,
true.
Levi.
You could say a very normal sarcasm, but that's when you're trying to just be rude, you
Mhm.
know?
Like people at Aaron's work.
Yeah.
That's true.
Guess it's
It's definitely a thing. It's like any kind of thing where, you know, I'm trying to think of another.
thing. I just think it's a funny word.
I think sometimes you can be sarcastic in a passively aggressive way when you're like really ticked off with
Oh
someone,
yeah,
and you
I
just
know
say,
what that's like. I listened to you and Alan do that like time and time again at the beginning of
And
the
yet he's doing that right now.
"Do we do that to him?"
Oh, you guys.
No, he don't.
No, I don't think he's smart enough to realize it anymore.
We're awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's.
You guys wouldn't
imagining
be
it.
here if it wasn't for me.
What, you weren't involved in any way, shape, or form in my birth, so I'd still be here.
You wouldn't be here.
This is
Does,
true.
does that mean
Well, actually, I
that
would've
doesn't
met
guarantee that? Yeah,
because
you're.
you're-
No.
Alan. If you weren't
No,
there,
I'm
I mean,
saying-
things might have
I'm
changed.
saying you
but-
guys probably wouldn't be friends if I hadn't been there to kind of help mediate your big crisis.
Well, there was-
I'm sure we would have figured.
You
something
might
out.
have. You might have. but
Might have. I'm pretty sure we would have.
You owe me big time.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
because we
that's
haven't
what-
done anything for him.
Yeah, I've
We're doing a lot of sarcasm.
there's
right now.
there was one trip I went on with one of my friends, and we ended up not speaking for like 6 months afterwards because we just got so pissed off at each
Oh,
other.
well,
like
We should
just,
talk
like,
about what we figured out the other day.
we rode the whole way home though, like just in complete silence, just listening to music.
Well, why did you guys get so pissed at each other?
Because like
Was it the camping
it was,
trip?
Yeah,
in,
it was the
in
camping
Colorado?
trip to Colorado, and so it was just because I think it was just like, A, I was sleep deprived, like, B, we just weren't being very considerate of each other, and so we just blew up.
You were saying it was kind of like the first time you really had done this, so you also
it was
were
our
over
first trip.
expecting.
Yeah, we
what vacation trips would
over-expected,
be.
Yeah, of like we wanted some like sex drive or something like some
So,
sort of like
Euro trip
like coming of age like
story.
road trip
Yeah.
story. Which
Oh, that
just didn't
never
happen.
Just a Hollywood special.
I know. Found out the hard way.
Well,
Hey, I went to Vegas with 3 girls expecting something like that to happen, and it did not.
yeah.
Yeah, you-
That's more of the movies are more of the exception than the rule.
I went to Vegas with 30 people, and
it was
He
awesome.
It
had
was
fun.
awesome.
But that was with 30 people on a party bus.
Well, I also say because that was his second vacation, so he had learned some lessons from the first
Third,
one. Third.
actually,
So he had learned some lessons from the first
yeah,
two.
Evan and I had fine-streamed where we
You
just
know-
like go with the flow. We had fun.
Well-
we had the money. It was good.
Aaron and I actually, he visited me on Thursday, and we actually had an
Oh yeah, no, I told.
Oh, yeah.
I called Levi. He said he'd get in
Yeah.
contact with you guys. I'll be honest. I was playing Sonic Boom.
I
yeah,
told her.
that was
we
awesome.
We knew. Anyways, he visited me on Thursday, and we actually had an interesting conversation about why, like Alan, I, and Levi included, our friendships worked out well, and Aaron's didn't work out as well.
Did not.
It's because
Sad.
it's because when two people hang out with each other and they have a disagreement, they butt heads. And
They're usually opposite
they're
sides
usually
of the spectrum.
opposite sides of
That's
the
why
spectrum.
they're having the
they're both
argument.
being pig-headed. There's nothing going on there. Whereas 3 people hanging out together, if 2 people start butting heads, third one can be a mediator and usually kind of
Or if
calm
he
things
takes
down.
a
Or if
side,
he
then
takes
it's
a
like
side, then it's like
majority rules.
Yeah.
and things
Nice.
just kind of well, Alan and I always hung out with the same people, so it was always by
Kind of,
default.
unless Alan was off by himself.
Well, I mean that
I
didn't
was out
happen
by
very
myself.
often.
You had a like the
Eventually, yeah.
the other crowd with stage crew and stage management. Like sometimes you'd kind of be off
In
with
college?
high school.
Well, yeah, but that was rare. That was when we were in shows, maybe. But
You didn't really hang out with any of the other people outside, other than your girlfriends.
But on top,
Okay.
not on a
Okay.
regular
You're many,
basis.
Many.
girlfriends.
Hey, this
And
is
like,
I would've
I
preferred
want
many.
to stress
Many.
how many.
well, and on top of that, you got to think with like us, it was usually like 4 of us. You know,
Yeah.
you, me, Alan, and Kate. We were all together at his house and everything like that. And so if Alan was gone, it was you, me, and Caden, so there's still 3 of us.
Yeah.
But by default, there's always at least 3, so that when something happened, if people were butting heads, there was usually the 3rd person that kind of calmed things down. And 4 was even better because if 2 people, there was 2
Let
other
the record
people.
show it was usually me.
Because I know when like I would hang out with my friends and it was just like 2 people, just the 2 of us, we would always just end up, we'd always end up just getting mad at each other. But then like the second it was like the 3rd person there, we would have fun like the whole day, and it was always
So
good.
we just
It
figured
was
it
the
out.
same thing with like me and Felipe. If Felipe and I ever just hung out, me and him, I hated it. I couldn't stand it, you know. And I was like ready to go. But if like Cade was there, or you were there, or Alan was there, or Bowles was there, it was all of a sudden a
interesting.
little bit better. And it's just because like
For me, anytime I was with Felipe. Even if there was a 3rd person there. I tend to
Didn't
have
matter.
issues. I swear it's because
he's pretty selfish.
well, no, not just that, but he had something against me, and he didn't want to admit it, but like he was always trying to
You wanna know?
one up me.
Well, he started
He
dating
started-
your ex-girlfriend, you know? He was always competing with you. I don't know what it was. It's because he knew he couldn't compete with me.
You know what's funny too?
Wow.
He
Shameless
couldn't.
plug.
He couldn't.
Oh.
Okay.
You know what's funny too is because I think about the time that he and Alyssa started like kind of going iffy that was about the time that I wasn't really dating anyone. I was just kind of like being super casual about things, and I'm pretty sure he did that because he wanted to try one up me on that. And then I started dating Elizabeth, and then he started wanting to get back with Alyssa again.
You know?
Huh.
Yeah.
Weird.
Always trying to
Unless
win
it's
me.
just an odd coincidence.
I don't know if you meant to do that, but the fact that you just couldn't remember your ex's name was just like such a slur or like slang.
I know. I'm glad I remembered Elizabeth's name. That would've been bad. It's like,
I started dating that
They-
one girl.
That one girl
Who
when
am
we
I
wanted to
engaged
date
to again?
Elizabeth.
Yeah, that from the
Alyssa
library.
again.
What's her name? What's her name?
We didn't even talk about that because
Yeah,
that
we
happened last
did.
week.
Oh, did we not?
No,
So
it
we
wasn't
didn't have a
last week.
podcast.
It was
It
the
was
week
the
before.
week
Oh,
before.
that's right.
We
We
did
did.
talk
We did
about
talk
it.
about it.
Wow.
Remember?
All right.
You're way
Well,
behind.
speaking of like forgetting
Alan's
people's
engaged.
names, at your wedding, do you remember who I ran into?
Devin?
I ran into Devin, but like I was just going to the music place and I saw her, and I was already kind of like adrenaline high after our Macarena that I didn't really care some of the things I was saying. And so before I filtered it in my mind or anything, I was like, hey, you look familiar. Where do I know you from? She's like, Devin. I was like, right, yep, you're right. Yeah, all right, well, I'm doing the music. Good to see you, though, and good to see your friend. Anyway, see you later.
Oh, that is,
Right?
that's
That's horrible.
That's almost like you won because now she's starting to think, oh my gosh, I didn't call this guy back, but I wasn't memorable to him. Here I was thinking he really was like into it, and I wasn't. But now I was just kind of like, you know.
Well, the truth of the matter, though, is I just didn't give myself 2 seconds to start thinking. And that's where I run into small mistakes like that, where I'm like, let's just say it. My mind is like, I want to say something, or my mouth says, I want to say something. Mine's like, screw it, go for it, see what happens. And then the mind enjoys to be like, oh, by the way, all of this information. You're like,
Where were you like 10 seconds ago?
Ugh, it's terrible.
Speaking of really bad mistakes, I really wanted to tell this story because I don't think any of you have heard it because it's been a week and a half.
Drum roll, please.
So I was sitting at work at Thumbtack not last week, but the week before.
Gonorrhea.
And what?
Gonorrhea.
I know it hits at the worst times, right? No, like so we get free drinks and everything, and they have
pretty healthy drinks.
That's better.
I want my Mountain Dew.
There's a gas station across the street.
That's not free.
Yeah, well, you know what? Free
See, that's
healthy.
the reason I didn't get the job. I was like, look, do you have free Mountain Dew? They're like, no. I'm like, sorry.
Well, if that's it, I honestly,
imagine if
I've loved the
Because
healthy.
they asked me what... I'm so sorry.
No.
I'm totally interrupting you again.
It's okay.
But
Whatever.
So when they...
Is that sarcasm?
I know. I was being all
I'll get back. I'll spin back.
Okay,
to you. Don't
well,
worry.
if we can,
You're
you
an
know,
incredible
if we
man.
have the time.
That's true. We are running out. So the last story. Anyways,
well.
really quick though. So when they interviewed me, they said I was like, yeah, the pay I just can't take a pay cut. And they're like, well, we do offer like signing bonuses. It's possible that we might do that. What would it take for you to come over? And I had said $1,500, which they agreed on. But what I should have been like was, well, you don't carry Mountain Dew. If you just carry free Mountain Dew, I'm yours. Could you imagine bringing that back? Well, he didn't like the pay cut, but if we always gave him free Mountain Dew, he'd be here.
See, and there are a lot of people who like Mountain Dew there, and so that would be a huge selling point. Like, no other sodas, just Mountain Dew.
Yes.
And we would get people.
And then I would start hardballing Mountain Dew and be like, only Supernova, please. That'd be nice.
Yeah, like they're gonna
That
get
would be
Supernova
hey, no.
for you.
I'm a big deal.
Apparently. Yeah, big of a deal.
Anyway,
That's why
so
they're sticking
Alan was
to it.
sitting at
So
Thumbtack
anyways.
a couple weeks ago, and there's free drinks
Yeah,
there.
so we get
Amish
free
too.
drinks, and they have
Gonorrhea.
some of the naked, mango puree juices and stuff. So I got the mango puree because I really liked it, and you have to shake the drinks up and everything because a lot of the stuff will go to the bottom, and so.
We are so immature.
Emotions. You gotta shake it and go to the bottom.
I didn't think about that. That's disgusting.
We need a webcam. Someone saw
While
that.
Alan's jacking off a drink.
So,
Gross. Anyways,
I tried to hold it in, like.
I partially registered it, and then Aaron laughed, and I was like, "Did that really happen?"
I told it just zinged over my head. I wasn't expecting that. All right.
okay, so you shake. You have to shake.
Speaking of terrible mistakes.
Yeah. Twice in 1 week. So I shake it before I drink, so that way anytime.
Crap, we can't tell this story.
Oh my gosh, guys!
Go.
Just do it.
Interrupted.
No, just
Interrupted.
Straight
Okay.
face. Straight face.
Camera faces,
Okay,
everyone.
so
Action.
I'd like to shake it before I drink.
Don't go back to it. Just continue on. This is
That's the key point of the story, though. Okay, fine.
Just don't say that part,
No,
please.
do it one more time. Just
See if we can make it.
Okay.
because I can do it. Daniel doesn't do it this time.
Daniel doesn't.
Okay. Okay.
Just go.
Okay.
Okay, straight face. Game faces, people.
Okay, thanks, Aaron. Okay. So, anyways, I was sitting at my desk, and I got to a point where I was kind of I was thirsty for the drink, and so since since I have to do that action, in order to
Go.
kind of get it all mixed together and everything, I decided to just grab it and start shaking it. But apparently, the time before when I'd gone to take a drink, I hadn't put on the cap the rest of the way, and so I go to shake it, and I just do one quick downward thrust, and all of a sudden, I look around and it's orange everywhere. Like there's orange all over me, all over my desk, on the
Did you
ground.
get on your face?
Like, I love it on my face. There's some on my ear. So I was just like sitting there, like there were a few people sitting near me, and they saw me, and they're like, "What happened?" And I'm just like, "I must have not put the lid back on." And people will tell you that I was just sitting there for like a good minute, just like, what just happened here? And then finally people were like, here, let me go grab you some napkins and we can start cleaning up. I'm like, oh, okay. And so so we cleaned everything up as well as we could. I mean, it got all over me.
Yeah, like there's nothing worse than when the liquid leaves like prematurely.
It just gets all over.
No.
No.
And you can't,
Oh,
and
gosh.
it doesn't get in your mouth.
Oh,
And for me, I usually have the napkins next to me, so like.
Well, this just doesn't
no.
happen to me so
Oh, no.
often, so I don't.
Just in case to clean up, you know.
No, the best part though that kind of goes along with what Aaron was saying was I had some like in my hair and ear over here that I had missed, and someone came up later and said, "You have like all this orange stuff in your hair and the ear." I'm like, "Oh, that's mango puree. I'm sorry."
Weird. They probably walked away like that is the weirdest guy.
That was the greatest.
No, they're walking away thinking, "Oh, I need to find that mango puree hair gel."
Well, what was great was since it was mango puree, my desk smelled amazing for the rest of the day. So that was really nice. But yeah, it was. I still don't remember not closing the lid, and I always like close the lids pretty well.
Alan just has hand motions for everything.
This just, wow. That escalated quickly.
I'm glad I told that story. I was a little iffy on that, but it turned out to be really well.
I love how like how much crossover there is. Like
the second that he said it was a naked,
innuendos, you know.
yeah, the second he said it was a naked drink, I was like, try to keep a straight mind. Come on, be clean about this. Come on.
I should send that story to Penthouse, you know, and just kind of.
Well, no, you needed the hand motion.
That's true.
The fact that you were doing that was.
All the stuff is on the bottom.
I honestly didn't catch that. Probably because my computer screen's right there.
Maybe. I didn't even realize I was doing
lost
that.
It. Oh my gosh.
Like I said, it was
Ooh.
like I
Ooh.
like half registered it until Aaron started laughing.
Actually, that reminds me. I was gonna also tell this story too. So like, Aaron was. I'm sorry, guys. I'm occupying all the time. So Aaron came with me to the
Your
party
one
on
time.
Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
And-
next week is back to the.
It's
gonna
back
interrupt
to
you.
interrupting me all the time, as you've done today as
Yeah,
well.
it's true.
The whole
But
time.
I've tried. I've been aware that I've been doing it. Anyway.
Anyways, so Aaron came with me to the party at Thumbtack. I kid you not, he has the best reactions to the hypnotist that was there. Like
yeah.
anytime the hypnotist would like guess the color of the cube that someone was hiding, it looked like his mind was blown. He was just always like, oh my god, how did he do that? Oh my, did you see that? I was like just looking at him the whole time, just laughing my butt off.
Because like there was like the first time like I thought he was just like a guest there, and then like these people like opened up their hands and they showed a dice, and I'm like, oh, he just barely guessed what that dice color was, because I didn't understand he was a hypnotist yet, because we were waiting in line and I wasn't paying attention. And so he's all like, all right, now go try to do it again. And so I started like paying attention, and then he actually like got it. And so I was like, no way, that like, how is that even possible? And so like he goes on and he keeps doing it, and he does it to some other people, and it got to the point where like I was getting like weak kneed, like when they revealed it and he guessed it, I got like weak kneed, and I was like laughing my butt off. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's getting these.
You know what? That leads to a point where we as people are just, we need things to be logically understood.
Mm-hmm.
If we can't logically think our way around it, there's a reaction, either a oh, how did he do that, or just a no, I hate it. I don't understand it, so I don't like it.
I called him a witch.
Yeah.
So you had kind of both. You were like, how did
He's
he
a
do
witch.
it? We've got to kill him. I don't like. This was incredible, but
Oh
you
my
must
gosh,
die.
this is the greatest thing ever. Okay, you're dead.
And then we had a dance-off competition, and
Yeah.
I did the worm.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
we played poker.
You forced me to do the worm.
Oh,
I don't even know
You
how
did
to
love
do
the
the
He did
worm.
pretty good though. Like he kind of just like lifted and scooted back.
That's exactly what I did, because I didn't even understand how the worm works.
You got to roll. Did I do the worm well
We
enough
did-
at the
yeah,
anime
you did
place?
really well. Like, you-
yeah.
I think you and I did.
It's
really
because you've got
I
to,
don't know
like,
that.
I don't think my back
I don't know that I've
starts
ever
to
tried.
actually roll the way that it should, but it's just kind of a push-up, but you bring your chest down first and you kick your feet up, so
And
that then you
just
kind of roll, and then you push off with your feet to do it again. It makes perfect sense.
Not to me. Might as well be telling me how to solve the
A
quantum
Rubik's Cube.
equations or something.
Well,
Well,
you see, if you take
at
the
the-
derivative of
Nice.
this function,
Keep going.
you'll find
Oh yeah,
that
Aaron.
You'll
the
find
limit,
Yeah, keep talking
the
that
limit
way.
as
Oh, yeah. I don't need your patronism.
But Kylie and I, we were playing poker, and like Kylie's really never played it before, but she was doing like really good. We knocked out 7 people, got
Whoa.
7 people's money, and then lost it all right there at the end. I don't know what it was, but we were like, obviously poker, there's skill and luck involved. Our luck ran out after we beat those 7 people. But we
I
just
like how
kept
luck
playing.
just
Right.
happens to be, chance.
And was it we or was it she?
We were both playing. We were both doing good. But they were both
We're
ran
doing
out.
good.
What?
Well,
Was it well or good?
Well, we were doing well.
Yeah.
I
Improvement.
love how we're just like grammar Nazis on our podcast.
For once.
We just like always just argue
Oh,
semantics.
do we do that?
Yeah.
Other than
we
this one?
do.
Oh.
No, we do it all the time.
Cool. Clean up your act.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Don't dishonor this
Sure.
podcast.
Don't dishonor.
I'm sorry.
Respect.
I'm
the
sorry that
family.
all of you now are slightly dumber than you were when you started listening to this.
Everyone makes mistakes when they talk. At least I don't use the word funner.
Nah.
It's
nah.
an actual word.
It's
It's an
It's-
abomination.
a rollover word. All right, fine.
I'm telling you.
Rollover.
I'm telling you, what makes a word a word? What makes word mean the word word?
Word.
Okay, Alan, I already explained it to you, okay? There's
And
the-
I counter-argued,
hey,
and
you're
we
so
got to a
deep.
decision,
He gets
and
to
let's
interrupt
We're
leave
so
it be.
deep, I can't even
You
see.
didn't counter-argument me.
I did.
What was your counter-argument? Do you even remember what my argument was?
Ooh.
Does it even matter?
It
Well,
does, because
I wanna
you
see
brought
this,
it up.
But both of you guys switch your fighting stance.
Yeah.
So now
I
you
can't
have
do
to
it.
argue
You
for
have
I
to
can't
argue
do it.
why
I
it should
I'll
be
do
a
it.
word.
I can't.
Why
I
it
Oh,
can't
so
do
you
it.
can't do it, Daniel?
I can't argue about how
An illogical
funner
thing.
is a word. I just can't do it.
So I told you
That's
this
a
is
debate.
logically it cannot
I
happen.
can. Oh,
In a
I can
debate,
argue
you don't always get
for
to
it.
choose
What side you
which
want to be on.
Yeah, Daniel.
My 5th grade teacher had mentioned that.
It
and
just
it's the
if you
only
don't
thing I-
want to argue against your point, it means you don't know enough to be able to argue for your point correctly.
I can argue against the point.
Snaps.
It's not that I'm saying I don't want to because I can't. I'm saying I don't want to because in my
It's a
heart,
moot point.
the word funner is just the world giving up on grammar.
Agreed.
So it's not a matter of whether or not it's arguable. It's just in your heart you don't want to believe it.
That's
yes,
me.
Yes.
I'll
So
admit
this
that.
this isn't a matter of whether it's right or wrong. It's just a matter of what
No,
you believe.
it's wrong.
That's what I got
No,
from
no,
it.
Imagine that I'm a
Alan,
member of Congress.
Alan,
It's wrong.
Here's the deal.
I don't care what
Alan,
the
here's the
people
deal.
say.
Here's the deal. It's subjective, which means neither of us can be right.
I'm
Neither
not
of us can be
arguing that
wrong.
I'm right. I'm just arguing that you're wrong.
Oh, I hate that.
But that's not how it works because originally you were arguing that you were right.
No, I was arguing that it's a word. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm right, but it is a word.
Okay, but Alan, if
Table
you're
flip.
arguing that it's a word, but you're
Mhm.
saying you're not arguing that you're right,
Mhm.
then what are you saying?
Okay, so you're trying to say that it shouldn't be a word.
Not trying.
No.
Succeeding.
No.
Yes, because
I'm trying
it
to
is a
say-
word.
No,
There's no
I'm
there's
trying to
no
say-
arguing
Wait,
against
wait,
that
Alan.
because it is a word.
Alan, listen to me. I'm saying it's an abomination and it's the
Exactly.
world giving up. I've never once said that it shouldn't be a word.
That's
I
well.
did.
So here's
so you
your
think
argument.
it should.
I'm impartial. I don't think
My
I should or
so
shouldn't.
my argument is it is a word. That's it,
Okay.
and it can
And
be
my,
used.
My argument is that while I agree it can be used,
It shouldn't be.
okay,
used.
no, it's not even that it shouldn't be used.
I-
When it is used, it is just a sad state that shows how our world
I never
has
argue
given up.
against that.
Okay, well
but
then,
that's not
then
my
we're
point.
in agreement.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
use the
Alan,
word.
Then here's. I'm not gonna stop you. I'm
There we
just
go.
gonna shake my
Just-
head and feel bad every time
I
you
feel
do
like
that.
And it's
this-
gonna be a lot more funner for me.
Oh, and now I
I
feel
was
bad.
like, yeah, I was gonna use that joke.
I was
This
like, just.
Anyways, moving on.
Move along, oh Dixie.
No, please.
What?
Now I started
Stop.
singing.
yeah,
I just felt like karaokeing and
So-
making up my own
Oh, yeah,
song.
I
that's
don't know.
karaoke
I
at
don't
the
know
party
who
too.
I don't know if I
Which was
told
fun.
you about the whole house thing.
No, that it
Anything
can't
about
be. It has to be residential.
No, it's actually zoned for neighborhood commercial.
So
Okay.
we can.
So we can.
What?
It's
We can
possible.
use it. The only problem is we'd have to get a commercial loan. Okay?
That's right. So, but the commercial loan is 20%.
It's 20%. But did research, it might take a little while to find the right lender, and it might not even happen at all if we can't find the right lender. But we can apply for a residential mixed use loan, meaning we're planning on living in the, residential
Commercial.
aspects, but we are planning on using the other parts for commercial use.
Okay.
So that would give us residential
Pricing.
mortgage,
Loan opportunities.
yeah, loan opportunities, but we'd still get to use the place as a commercial thing.
It's kind of cool.
Would be cool.
It's just gonna be hard to find a lender that does that.
Well,
So
we
sure
can
there are some in
discuss with
California.
Elizabeth because
that's what I need to talk to Elizabeth, but she's never around.
she's in Seattle.
Yeah, but
Cool.
she's supposed to come
Is she having fun?
visit us. So we can
What's she
talk
doing
to
in
her.
Seattle again?
She has a friend who lives there. She was just going to visit and wanted to travel somewhere, so she figured it'd be
And
cheap.
be away from
You
Alan.
guys travel too much.
I wanted to go, but it would have been a lot more expensive to go.
Why
so-
would have
I
been
don't think
a
they
lot
travel
because
too much. That's cool.
she can stay
Oh,
with her
okay.
friend, but if I were coming along, they wouldn't be able to accommodate both of us because her friend lives with her, with
With a roommate.
yeah, and so it's family, and they didn't even want her to stay,
Oh.
but he was able to convince them that to have her come along, and so
He?
That
I'm
actually
just
threw
saying
off
what
my-
Aaron
No, that's
was
kind of
saying.
that's kind of the cool thing with your guys' relationship because you had mentioned before that that's just how trusting and how well the
Mhm.
relationship has been that you don't mind that her best friend is a guy.
That's how
Oh,
it
wow.
has to be. If you can't trust the person you love to be alone
Mhm.
with other people, it's not the right person.
see,
It's
and
not
I-
necessarily that because I have difficulty with that just naturally.
Uh-huh.
But
That's just
But here's the thing.
But is that because you
I-
truly believe
Yeah,
that that's how they
I-
are, or is that just because
all
Or
the
maybe
other
that's a
people-
mirror you see yourself.
All the people I dated before Kylie, I honestly thought that about them, that I wanted to trust them, but that somehow it wasn't there. And every time they would go and hang out with a guy, or said something that sounded a little off to me, I thought they were lying to me or cheating on me.
What would that look like?
Cheating.
Cheating to me.
I don't know. Cheating
they're
on me,
watching porn of
you know?
him while they're doing
Ew.
stuff?
Alan.
You tried.
I
One
tried.
too far.
I
One too
tried.
far.
Yeah,
Hey.
you tried.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was there, and it sucked. But not once has that happened with Kylie. It just doesn't exist there. And that's one of the main things that makes me know that she's the one, because I do know I can trust her. So while I do understand that up until now, you probably have had those issues, and you may have issues with people like that in the future, I guarantee you that the one person you're supposed to be with, you'll probably never have those problems
Do
with.
you see
Fingers
yourself
crossed.
if you were alone with a woman? Like you do things?
Heck no.
I was just wondering. Then why do you think they would?
Because I can trust myself, but
Yeah, just other
I can't
people.
necessarily. And yeah, they'd have to build the trust, but I'm just naturally untrusting, and I can put environmental issues behind it and abusive issues behind it that technically lead to that. Which when I heard that, I was like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I love it. Let's because that's how
use-
psychology
let's
is.
jump
right?
on
You're
that.
Like that. I like that. That must be my problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
We have a lot of work, Levi.
But-
I know.
but at the same time, I think
How am I going to pay you?
Oh, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to touch that train right now.
In
I'm messing with ya.
Don't touch
It'll be about 500
mango
then.
puree.
mango puree.
The problem can be solved. You just have to shake this.
Okay.
I want you to imagine this mango puree as your
Yeah.
feelings. And just shake it up until it explodes.
Twist it. Make sure all the stuff's settled on the
All the
bottom.
stuff's on the bottom while you're shaking
Oh my
it.
God.
One of these days you won't even need a mango
You know,
puree
just
bottle.
shake it like this. Get it closer to your face.
They just want you to guzzle it down.
Wow.
Uh,
Terrible.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrible.
Terrible.
Well, who says that?
Cleveland.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh.
yeah, his show sucked.
That's true. That was kind of a weird. Actually, you know what? That goes along with. So obviously, they were trying to make it for the culture, and so they throw those kinds of cultural things in there. And I have a point to go with that.
Mm-hmm.
So in Japanese anime, there we do enjoy some jokes, but there are some jokes that is just innately
They're
funny
cultural.
to the culture.
Yeah.
Whereas Sonic Boom,
Mm-hmm.
it's more like it's funnier. And I agreed with the things that I was hearing on Sonic Boom. I was like, yeah, that's totally
funny.
our humor.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's moments where it was like, oh, that was a little far into our humor. Like that was kind of a retarded point. And I'm sure that people in Japan are like,
Watching
and so
stuff
we
like
totally miss those little things that were like, oh, that's just dumb.
Yeah.
And the Japanese people might just be like, oh yeah, they're going pretty far into our humor on that.
Like Styx, I think she's a funny character, but sometimes they go a little too far with her being crazy. It's funny.
There's only been 4 episodes.
I know, but
I don't really
they-
think
These
they-
4 episodes. Oh no, 3 episodes with Styx because Styx
Yeah,
wasn't in the
Styx
first.
was in the
Yeah.
first episode.
Yeah.
That's right.
But they like
I
one
liked-
too far. You know.
So it's funny. I bet they do things like that, and same thing with Cleveland Show.
I think Styx
Crazy
is
pizza
amazing.
man.
Who also juggles and sings.
I think to be like a good character, you have to have some sort of like disorder
much.
or catch. You know.
There's always a
flaw.
flaw,
Yeah.
a character flaw. Like
That's
Sonic is arrogant.
Yeah.
Tails can be a little naive.
How many times do I have to say that to you?
Knuckles.
No, you
is-
call him an asshole.
He
There's
is.
a difference.
Knuckles
No,
is
that's-
stupid. I hate it.
Are all
Knuckles.
assholes arrogant?
Or are all arrogant people
People
assholes?
Yes.
All
The
arrogant.
second one. Yes.
No.
And
No.
Sonic's arrogant.
No.
Yes.
No, because he doesn't let that arrogance control him.
But is he arrogant?
He can be arrogant.
Therefore.
Doesn't mean you can be arrogant, so you're an asshole.
I
You're
know.
being arrogant right
I
now.
know. I was never arguing that. Yes, I'm using it. I can argue, guys. I can debate. Anyways. Sonic.
No,
is-
think about this. When Sonic's friends are in danger, what does he do?
asshole things.
Well, when
mean,
Like
Tails
saves them and stuff.
he just let Tails go to Dr.
Yeah, he
Robotnik's
totally did.
place.
Just let him go.
They all did.
Bum, bum, bum.
That was
So
part of
they're
his
all assholes.
arrogance.
Yes.
Whatever.
I just
You guys can believe what you want to believe.
I do have to say, I actually have enjoyed
'Cause
hearing.
Dr. Eggman's like so not threatening that I would have let Tails go too.
I know,
Isn't
seriously.
that kind of weird?
It's
Like,
like,
is that
let's
how it
just
always was with
assume-
the Sonic shows?
No, Eggman's been like
He's
really
super
big part
evil,
in the-
evil in most of the other ones.
in Sonic Boom, he's just annoying.
Well,
But
and
cool,
they've kind of
nice.
it,
I've enjoyed
it's-
the fact that he's in like every episode and not in the completely evil sense, but
Mhm.
kind of a
Mischievous.
like the fact that he was the roommate. Like that is a total flip.
I
Kinda
think
cool.
it's because in the end, like, so Eggman is an essential character to Sonic the Hedgehog because he's always there, and like he never wins, and he always has issues, and Sonic always. So eventually, it
Agree that
just
I win 50% of the time.
A lot of people will probably hate me for saying this, but he just kind of reminds me of Loki.
Bum boom! I hate Loki though.
Well-
Thor all the way.
So like there are definitely like villains to the Sonic's side that are just true villains, but Eggman, it's gotten to a point where they've done enough that they know each other so well.
Yeah, and that's how I feel with Sonic. I feel like Eggman's more like an anti-hero
Mhm.
Yeah.
than he is a
Like
villain.
he'll help you out until he wants to, until it's no longer beneficial for him, or he can make his move,
Yeah.
which I think Loki would do too.
That's exactly what Loki would do.
Further his own game.
It's true. All right.
Well,
That's
I-
it.
yeah, we're running out of battery. So.
Yeah, we forgot the charger today.
So
We
We
you guys are so nice.
Yeah.
If Aaron hadn't forgotten that on Levi's computer.
yeah.
We
could
all
have let
forgot
me
it.
know. I had my.
Were
Everyone
you guys
knows.
considerate enough to tell him to
Yeah.
pick up
Did
his?
you remind me on
Did
Friday?
you remind me
Levi,
to
do you
bring
not
my charger
remember?
here?
Me reminding you about it?
Yeah, it must have been that time that I saw that UFO, and I just everything's kind of a haze since then.
Oof,
Yeah.
man.
And then I know something hit my eye.
Shots
But-
your ass
fired.
feel?
But-
How's your ass feel? Yes, your butt. How does your
Oh,
butt?
yeah, butts.
If you don't remember the experience, did it happen?
Yeah.
Oh, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to hear
If someone
it.
lies
If
to
you
you
could
and you can't
honestly
catch the
convince-
lie,
Oh, lying.
If
Oh,
you
no.
convince
We're not doing
yourself
that.
gravity didn't exist, could you fly?
you don't catch
No.
someone lying to you, do they actually lie?
Does a dog have a soul?
What the heck is going on?
I've seen all
Are
dogs go to
dolphins
heaven,
the
so I
smartest
believe they do.
mammals?
Well,
Can dolphins eat tuna?
That's exactly what they eat.
They do eat tuna.
Yeah.
Cannibalism.
Oh, okay.
Then they are the
Well, they
smartest
do.
mammals.
it's cheap.
It's inexpensive. You put some mayo on it. It's delicious.
Throw it in your mac and cheese.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful though, because you know there's bits and pieces of dolphin in tuna, right?
Well,
Did you know that?
I didn't, but I mean, it
Now you
sounds
do.
delicious. Like,
And on that
well,
note,
no,
gotta
because
shake it up.
I assume dolphin is very expensive. So if I'm just getting it for free in my tuna, then I'm not gonna complain.
woo, Aaron's living the highlight.
Yes.
Okay, well, this
I had
was
dolphin last night.
This was the
Where?
I
Panda
mixed it with whale blubber.
Blubber.
The-
Caviar.
Where?
Podcast.
podcast.
Yeah.
Daniel.
Levi.
Alan.
And yours truly, Aaron Shepherd.
All right.
Were you
parting
eating
note.
with
What's
a
the parting
bone?
note?
Parting note.
Bone spoon. Were you
Wait,
eating
what's
with
the
a
parting
bone
note, people?
spoon?
Whale bones.
Whale
Whale
bones with whale
Whale
blubber
bones.
Whale blubber.
and
And-
caviar and dolphin.
Boom.